It's a Happy Families podcast with Dr. Justin Coulson. We're Luke and Susie, parents of 3 little boys, and this is the podcast for those of us who are time-poor parents who just want answers now.
This is such a heart-wrenching question that we've received to the show that you're going to try and address today, Justin.
Yeah.
I'll ask you the full question. There's a lot here.
Okay.
I'm a full-time working mum. I struggle with the guilt of not being at school events or home when my daughter gets home from school and being exhausted at the end of each day. School holidays, the guilt sets in as day after day I go off to work and leave my daughter at home. I'm not a career person. I stayed at home for the first 15 years of my family's life. But now, with one daughter of 4 still at home and a single mum, I have to work. How can working mums resist the guilt?
Feels like the mummy mafia is out. There are simple realities of life, and one of those realities is that we need to earn an income, and that doesn't help anybody who's doing it and leaving their kids at home. It's a reality, but it still feels blah. I think that the best thing that we can do in these circumstances is make sure that our kids are getting the very best that they can from us when we can give it to them. And that kids usually understand circumstances. I've just done this. I mean, we're obviously talking about a child here who's well into their teens.
Yes.
It's probably going to feel different having this conversation about a child who's younger. But with my new book coming out in the early part of next year about teenage girls, I've surveyed about 400 Australian teenage girls, many of them around the age of 15, who have said the one thing that I really wish my parents would do is talk to me about what's going on in their lives. Like, I'm a teenager. Wow. I'm not too far off being an adult. Don't try to shelter me. Don't try to protect me. If dad's not well, or if dad's no longer in the picture, or if you're struggling, or if our finances are falling apart, don't freak me out and stress me out over it, but communicate with me and let me know what's going on. I got the sense from many of the girls who wrote answers like that they were saying, I'm big enough to not only understand it, but maybe even to contribute or help in one way or another. It could actually be good for developing perspective and empathy, which is great if you've got a teenager. When you've got younger kids, again, I think we all have to do things that we don't want to do. In a perfect world, we would all stay home with our children, and we would take them to the beach, and we'd have Instagram-worthy moments every day, and somebody would just put, I don't know, $250,000 a year into our bank balance just because.
So can you make that happen for us?
Just like that. But that's not life. That's not reality. I wish that I didn't have to travel. I've got a wife and kids at home, and I'm travelling around the country sometimes a couple of times a week to run presentations. I wish I didn't. We all wish that things could be different, but they are what they are. And I think just transparent, honest conversations with our kids, it won't necessarily take the guilt away, but it helps the kids understand. And then as a family, we get to say, well, how do we fix this? How can we make our time together the best? What can we do to support each other? Is it
a case where we take the ideal options in our head of how we parent our children and make that the baseline evaluation of whether we're a good parent or not? So we feel the guilt because we're not hitting the ideals all the time with what if we had all that money in the world and all the time in the world, we would choose to do it this way.
And a partner who could go and do whatever so that we could be supportive.
We're not pulling our line down to understand that the world is not full of ideals and utopia.
Yeah, it's unattainable. Yeah. And so there's all sorts of books that are on the market. There's people that you can talk to help to overcome the guilt that's associated with guilt. Ultimately, is saying I wish things were different, and I'm not happy with how things are. Guilt is still better than shame, which is about saying there is something wrong with me. Yeah. And what I'm grateful for when I hear that question is this is a mum who's not saying there's anything wrong with me, my personality, my character. I just wish things were different. And normally when I sit here, I've got really tidy answers. I've got helpful things where people can go away and they can do something different because of what I've said. But in this case, I have to say there just aren't answers for every problem that we face. Sometimes the only thing that we can do is give it time, let ourselves and our families develop through things. Circumstances will change eventually. Make the most of a bad hand and wait until the next deal and something new might come up. That's really unsatisfying, though, isn't it?
Well,
I'm hearing myself saying, but I want to do something.
But sometimes isn't the point of guilt if it's unreasonable guilt, unreasonable expectations, just to know that it's okay. Like, you're okay. Like it's like you don't need to feel that guilt because even the expert goes, you can't have it all. You can't get it right all the time, or you can't attain the utopia. I think sometimes it just makes you feel good to go, okay, I've been judging myself, but I'm the only one who's judging myself.
Right. And I don't know anybody who's actually got it all together and who has the perfect balance between their work and their family and their recreation and their finances. I'm sure that they do exist. Maybe they're all listening to the show right now except for this one person, and she really is on right. No, but she's not. That's the thing.
Yeah.
None of us are. It's just hard, and I don't think there's any tidy answers.
Yeah.
But things change. Seasons come and go.
This mum will have other mums in her school who turn up to every school event. They will
Those
turn up to.
poor mums.
They will do everything at every
School events. Holy crap. I've been to so many assemblies.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Some of them are horrible. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are terrible. But like there are mums who have this perception of like that they are there for their children all the time. Why can't my life be like that? Is that perception a lie? Like, or is it just a different area that they're struggling in? How can we look at that and not feel like we're the ones who are doing the worst job?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, some people make sure that everybody sees them doing those things as well. So for some people, it's really important. How important is it really that you're working in the tuck shop or that you're volunteering at the school? It's great if you can, but not everybody can. And I actually think the percentage of parents that are doing it consistently is probably a lot lower than this mum might imagine. Great if you can do it. Most parents probably can't because most parents are juggling work and everything else that's going on. And work is usually during school hours. Don't have any great advice other than it will pass.
Yeah. I think that's it. I remember talking to a mum at school who showed up to everything, and she said, but I only show up to everything because I can. If my situation's changed and I couldn't, then I wouldn't, and it would be okay. And I thought that was such a level-headed approach to it. I show up because I can, but if I can't, I can't. It's just as simple as that. That's just the reality of life.
Yeah, and when this mum has the conversation with her daughter, she says, if I could be there, I would be there.
Yeah.
If we didn't have rent to pay or a mortgage to pay or groceries to pay for, I'd be there in a heartbeat. And I will take a day off here and there for the most important, most biggest, most wonderfulest moments that I really do need to be there for.
Yeah.
But this is an assembly where you're going to get a merit award that says that you've been well behaved in class, and I just can't be there for that one.
Yeah. Dr. Justin Coulson, thanks for exploring. It's a big issue, this parent guilt, but we appreciate you having
such an important one to address, and I guess give some freedom to.
For more details on Justin's books, programs and podcasts, you can jump online to happyfamilies.com.au, and to find out how to have Justin come and speak at your school, organisation or event, you can find more details at justincoulson.com.